I mean, the market has to correct. The number one thing impacting our market today is affordability. If we don't close that affordability gap, and there's really only two ways we can do that. We either lower interest rates, right, making money cheaper to get, or alternatively, we have to lower the price.
And of course, Bruce, we don't get to lower the price. The market dictates price.
Yeah, and that's what I meant. I mean, when I say we, I'm talking the market has to adjust there. Again, they are predictions, but the bulk of the predictions are actually coming in a price drop of 10%, in that 10% range. So I think that's pretty fascinating. And by the way, 10% price reduction in the market will actually go a long way to closing that affordability gap.
It really illustrates, Bruce, the dramatic change we've had in our industry at large. Because you think about less than 2 years ago, Compass came out of the gate with an $8 billion valuation. That was April of 2021. Less than 2 years later, they're valued around $1 billion. $7 billion less. And they were the darlings of the public real estate companies at that point in time. Now, I'm willing to stick my neck out and say that the valuation to start with was way higher than it should have been. So the fall, if you will, is maybe more dramatic than it needed to be. And yet a decision around leasing 89,000 square feet in Manhattan would be directly tied to an $8 billion valuation, not a $1 billion valuation. So these tough decisions, as we said, are warranted. Doesn't make them any easier, but it's clear to see why they would need to be making those in order to survive, as well as that I think it's an indicator that this challenging time, if you will, however you're perceiving that, is likely to sustain itself for a while. It's probably not going to go away very quickly. And until they get a pretty dramatic trend line of that inflation back toward the 2% that they want to see it at, the Fed is not going to stop what they're doing. Because as we've talked about on this podcast before as well too, Bruce, they don't have a ton of options on how they can get a handle on that. Raising the cost of money is one of the very few levers they have. So they will continue that pathway until they get a hold of it. I think it also indicates home buyers are not as dramatically impacted by a week-to-week slight change in the interest rate as we think they are. Because rates are down from the high of 7 in October, and yet locks are down still. Quarter point in the rate doesn't cause you to run to the local mortgage lender and lock in your rate.